turn this into something positive and maybe it'll spread.
He's the most positive person on his job.
Now you're cured.
I feel good.
Good morning, I'm Carol Meekins, and thank you for joining us for Positively Milwaukee. It is really difficult to describe someone who has never been there, but mental pain or depression can be hard to bear. A former Milwaukee TV news anchor talks about depression using humor and insight to help lighten the burden and show there is an end in sight. Mosaics by Terry Bertha McGuire. Made from shattered glass, the broken becomes beautiful. Terry Bertha McGuire is helping fractured souls become whole. It's through a free online support community. It's called Giving Voice to Depression. I talked to Bertha McGuire on Zoom. She works from her home in Eagle in Waukesha County.
The idea behind it is that anybody with any sort of a mental health challenge or a mental illness can be very easily and very thoroughly convinced that they're alone in their experience.
Yes, they have an ally, thanks to Terry McGuire's blog, Facebook group, and podcast. She hosts that with her sister, Bridget.
Welcome to the Giving Voice to Depression podcast. We're your co-hosts, Terry
and Bridget.
Each week, through intimate, candid conversations with guests,
they remind listeners that mental anguish does not have to win.
We keep it hopeful because there truly is hope.
And it is helpful to have someone be the light when you can't see one.
Their social media platforms reach people all over the world who are struggling. It's born out of their own experience.
We have lost people we love to suicide, and we both live with depression. And the podcast and the social media support all started after my most recent, unfortunately, knock on wood, I haven't had one since, but it was my worst ever depression.
Today, Bertha McGuire is shocked by what she didn't do when she felt deeply depressed.
I was just stunned at how I got sucked into it, how I never once questioned if what I was believing, if what I was hearing was true, that I'm worthless, that I've lost my value, that there's no hope, that my future is going to be worse than my present, which was completely unacceptable. I believed all of that. Never crossed my mind it was an illness, never crossed my mind that perhaps I should talk to a professional.
Back in the late 70s and early 80s, Terry Bertha McGuire was an anchor and reporter at Channel 6. She left the job to raise her 2 kids. Even her career as a former TV journalist did not give her the awareness she needed to cope with depression.
I've been a reporter, I've been an anchor, I know how to do research. I know Google, I know WebMD, and I never checked those symptoms.
McGuire realizes the stigma of getting help for mental health must be erased.
If I'd limped for 2 years, somebody would have said, "You're still limping? You need to get in and see a doctor. You could have sprained something, you could have broken something, maybe you have a fracture."
If you had a gash on your leg and you fell in a pile of glass, you're not going to just walk around with that gash and go, "Oh, no. Just leave it alone."
Nor would anyone say to you, just wipe the blood off and keep going. What are you complaining about? People will just say, you're not handling things very well, and I just find that so dangerous and so unhelpful. When it's a mental illness and they can't see it, and you say, "I think about dying all the time and welcome it," or "I can hardly get out of bed," there's either that, I don't want to hear about that. Or there's but you have fill in the blank, right? You have such a nice life. You have people who love you. You have a house. You have a job. Whatever they think protects you, it doesn't protect you any more than it would protect you from any other illness like cancer or diabetes.
Through giving a voice to depression, Bertha McGuire quickly found the need is great.
We're coming up on 500,000 plays, and the Facebook community has grown. I decided to create what I wish I had had.
Part of her own healing is knowing that she can help others. It's an awareness that makes her emotional.
There have been some people who have shared stories with us that they were planning. They had intended to take their lives and Googled depression, and we came up, and they listened. And hearing that other people had been exactly where they had been. I've interviewed a lot of suicide attempt survivors, and that they were glad they survived, that the people, and there have been like a surprising number, I just, it gets me, who have said that listening to that helped them through it, helped them out of it. I tear up just thinking about it all the time. It's hard to even put words to. I mean, we have a little widget on our website where someone can leave us a message. And a woman just said, I hope, I might cry. She said, I hope that when you go to bed at night, you know you saved someone's life. And like, how do you stop? How do you stop what you're doing when someone tells you that? I can't tell the stories without crying. I just can't.
Fortunately, Terry has learned to manage her depression.
That I see a therapist every 2 weeks and that I got on antidepressants. And I don't push antidepressants, but I also really encourage people to not take anything off the table that might help. At least get out of the hole. And then when you have a floor beneath your feet again, you can decide how you want to proceed.
No matter what therapy a person chooses, there's comfort in shared experiences. That's why Terry refuses to stop helping those in pain. That despite the fact that she has faced another huge challenge this year. Like many nonprofits during the pandemic, her funding stopped in January. Despite her financial hardship, she is committed to lifting souls.
You can't see somebody hurting and just say, oh, it must be really hard to be you. When you can actually say, reach into that darkness, right? Say, take my hands, take my hands. I promise you it gets better. I promise you I was there. There is tremendous power in that.
Terry Bertha McGuire is proving that like fractured glass, lives broken by depression can be transformed into a new mosaic of beauty and inner peace.
I've never had a mission. I didn't even know what a mission was. And this is mine. I'll die satisfied that I did something with this life.
What a gift to the world. Now, though Terry is now looking for funding to keep going, we did get some good news this week. FeedSpot just listed her podcast as #1 in the top 60 depression podcasts in the country. So if you need immediate help, there is a 24/7 crisis line. It's listed at the bottom of your screen. You can dial 211 or call 414-257-7222. The pandemic hit many mom and pop retailers hard, and a lot of you have shown your support, but it is still needed. Kristen Byrne shares how a Milwaukee family found a unique way to give local small businesses a boost.
My favorite, and what has really become a family favorite for everybody, is Emmanuel's Mix. She's also local to Milwaukee.
Maisie Wellington started the company Bronze Box with her husband, Paul.
Lush popcorn. They've got all different awesome flavors.
Customers get a box delivered to their front door, featuring products from Black-owned businesses.
Paul and I really instill in our daughter, who's 3.5, the importance of shopping small businesses, and especially Black-owned businesses.
At first, the items were all from Milwaukee. Now, they're from all over the United States.
What's been the reaction from some of these local businesses when you have one of their products that you're featuring in your box?
A lot of places are just really happy to support us and in turn to support them.
New data from tax prep service H&R Block shows out of 3,000 small businesses surveyed, 53% of Black business owners report their revenue dropped by half since the start of the pandemic, compared to 37% of white owners.
We know right now that a lot of places are really struggling. And even with us starting a new business, it's been kind of hard, but that's what we're hoping through our business, is to kind of give those places still visibility and help them and just build those relationships with people.
Box prices start at $25. When you buy one, some of your money is going to another good cause. 20% of all the profits made go to the nonprofit MKE Black. Maisie's husband started it. It's a local organization advocating for Black businesses in the greater Milwaukee area.
But it does seem like it's a labor of love for you and your family, and there's meaning behind this business.
What comes from our heart is just, like I said, just giving back to our community. And this is one great way that everybody can give back.
Definitely is. Now, this month's Bronze Box is featuring a Women's History Box. All of those products are from female Black business owners. It's a great way to pay it forward.
Well, we did find a man who is passionate about good cooking in Port Washington. Rod Burks found a barbecue hotspot that stands as a testament to its relentless owner.
Behind every restaurant, there is a story. Meet Robert Meredith, owner of Yummy Bones Barbecue Restaurant in Port Washington. He's got some award-winning barbecue on his menu.
I started out in July of 13 at a gas station here in Port Washington. I just had a Weber grill, some food, some pork that I had made overnight, and I took it to the gas station and just started selling out of the gas station.
He got into the restaurant business after he lost his job.
I used to be a truck driver, man. You know, I started working for Pepsi-Cola first, did Pepsi for a while. I have sleep apnea, so the industry decided I was unsafe to drive these trucks and said, see you later. And I had to reinvent myself.
He's got an amazing selection of sides and barbecue here. His most popular is his award-winning brisket and his first-place chili.
I got some brisket in there. I got some hamburger meat. I got regular charred hamburgers. I got 3 different types of beans. I got, you know, my own flair, and then I smoke it overnight. You go and you smoke the wings first with that nice seasoned blend that I got, and then I cool my wings off, and then per order, I throw them on top of my grill.
Yummy Bones has had some incredible customer support during the tough times of the pandemic, but there was one customer that blew Robert's mind.
I had some lady that was from California, some government official, wanted to ship my food truck out to California so I can do one of their 4th of July parades.
After talking barbecue, Robert and I went back to the original Yummy Bones, which was located in the basement under a bowling alley in a building that is now abandoned.
What are we stepping into?
This right here is the dining area of the original Yummy Bones that we had. We had my smoker over here and my little grill, and we made it happen. There was some days that was tough, though. When I first got started, man, I got flooded here twice. I had a fire here. So imagine being shut down and seeing your dream almost diminish right in front of you. My desk would sit right here. And then I had all my affirmations of things, you know. Who dares to dream? Everybody should be dreaming to see where they want to go in life, because if you ain't got no plan, you ain't going nowhere.
Well said, that's very true. And that's a great example. Follow your dreams. Well, this spring, don't forget, support your local restaurants that are near you. Still to come the unique way, Waukesha is celebrating a big milestone. We're going to tell you how you can take part. Plus, hugs for Elena, how a local NFL draft prospect is drawing inspiration from a fellow warrior. Welcome back to Positively Milwaukee. As a local football player auditions for the NFL draft, he's remembering those who have been there all along. I'm talking about UW-Whitewater and Hartford offensive lineman Quinn Miners. And Lance Allen tells us about hugs for Elena.
Quinn Miners is a 325-pound offensive lineman and set for the NFL draft.
I always kind of felt like I was a positive person, but I mean, she takes it to the next level.
His inspiration, Elena Shelsta.
I just always find a way to be happy and kind of be myself.
Easier said than done. Shelsta has GLUT1, a rare blood sugar disorder that causes seizures.
Only about 300 are diagnosed. She is the only person in the world on this medication.
Paul Shelsta is Quinn's offensive line coach from Hartford High School and Elena's father, and she has complicated issues that forced Mother Chris to step aside as Hartford's girls basketball coach.
I loved coaching, but it was just, I had to be there for our family more and everything, and with everything going on, this is the best time that I had to step down and everything and focus more on what we need to do for Elena.
There's times where her medication would change. It was something different every week.
Every day.
Right.
Every day.
Right. There's 19 different things she has to take every day. And that's actually down, because I think the highest at one time was 26. So yeah, being a coach does help, because you have to change the game plan.
I absolutely hated giving 9 vials of blood for the NFL Combine. And she goes, I do that all the time. And I watch, and I'm just like, I'm over here going, I cannot wait for it to be over with.
Miners never forgets his Hartford hometown roots, and before his big stage at the Senior Bowl for draft-eligible players, he let it show.
It's 8 in the morning, and I'm just watching the Special Olympics, and my phone rings, and it's Quinn. And I'm like, why is Quinn calling me right now? I answer the phone, and he said that they were putting stickers on their helmets saying I'm playing in honor of, and you can put whoever you want. And he asked for permission to put Elena. And I broke down.
You know, it was a hard time the day of the Senior Bowl game when I had that sticker to call. I kind of took a deep breath. I had to step away from the phone and kind of clear it up a little bit.
Now as Quinn goes viral on social media, he uses the power of the platform with Belly of the Beast and Hugs for Elena shirts.
When I put my hands on it, it actually made 2 little hearts in the middle of the palm area, which is really cool.
One more connection, Miner's nickname is the Gut. Elena has glute, just 1 letter difference.
I mean, it's the glute. Like, I don't know. I started turning. I was like, oh, what are we doing here?
But it shows how a budding football pro draws inspiration from a fellow warrior.
You look at the Hugs for Elena page, you can't find a picture where she's not smiling, and you can't find a time where she's not. I mean,
he's a great football player, but he's an even better person.
We're talking about how big his gut is and everything, but he's got a much bigger heart.
Oh, and that heart is huge. And if you want to help the cause, check out Hugs for Elena on Facebook, and you can get her design as well. A new special exhibit is open in Waukesha that celebrates a huge milestone in the city. Digital reporter James Groh takes us there.
I feel like I'm walking through the halls of time. I'm in Waukesha, where they're putting on a special exhibit to celebrate the 125th anniversary of the city.
It is the history of Waukesha in 100 objects.
That's Bonnie Bird, the executive director of the Waukesha County Historical Society and Museum, which is where the exhibit is. The city of Waukesha has been around since 1896.
Through each of those objects, we could tell stories that make up the history of the city of Waukesha.
Like an X-ray tube from 1913 made by General Electric, or these military coats worn by Waukesha service members as far back as 1898.
You might be asking yourself, it's the 125th anniversary. Why aren't there 125 objects? That's because
part of what we hope to do with this exhibit is actually help inspire folks to think about what those next objects might be. And the story of the city is the story of the people who live here, who work here, who make it the place that it is. And so we want them to be able to get involved and share their ideas with what the stories yet to be told are.
On the Historical Society's website, which you can find on tmj4.com, you can make suggestions as to what else to include. Other cool artifacts include the winning soapbox derby car from the first local race in 1947 and this early dental x-ray.
Each item coming from a business or being made by a business here, connected to a family that lived here.
You won't find any Les Paul items here because the museum already has an entire section dedicated to him.
A lot of cool stuff there. James, thank you very much. Now, this exhibit is open at the Waukesha County Historical Society Thursday through Friday and is open to the public through next year, so go check it out. Coming up, Operation High Score, how pandemic nostalgia is saving the day for the owners of this local arcade and video game business. Welcome back. It is officially spring this weekend, but we're turning back time with this next story. Delaney Bright takes us inside a business that has been supplying entertainment for decades.
From Pac-Man to pinball, Red's Novelty has been supplying entertainment to Wisconsin establishments for over 80 years.
My grandfather was nicknamed Reds, and I'm third-generation owner.
For Jay, taking over the family business was a no-brainer.
I loved coming here as a kid, as I do now. My kids, I have 3 beautiful daughters with my wife that love coming here.
But as Jay points out, competing with apps has been Red's biggest challenge of late.
Now you have a cell phone that can play every game possible. So arcade games, video games, so to speak, aren't as popular as they once were.
That is until COVID-19 took its toll on local businesses this time last year.
Yeah, it was tough for us. If I could go a whole week without getting a call, to say, come pick up my equipment because I'm closing, that would be a good week.
With the pandemic forcing Jay to operate alone for some time, there were moments it seemed like it was game over. That is, until nostalgia saved the day.
I loved getting that call to say, hey, could you sell me a game? Could you bring a game into my house? Because I have a family, I have kids that want to stay and play these games.
With a few bonus lives in their pocket, Reds has been able to bring joy into people's homes, and now moving forward back into businesses as they reopen safely.
I think we're about 2/3 back open to where we were before the pandemic. I'm hearing a lot of locations either have relocated or made plans to find a new place.
I guess you could say 1960s or 2021, hitting the jackpot or claiming the high score will never go out of style.
Thank you, Delaney. And in today's world of advancing technology, sometimes it's just nice to go old school. A young woman from Milwaukee is turning heads with her singing voice, and it's definitely a reason to smile. Anna Grace's take on the Billie Eilish song My Future got all 4 judges to turn their chairs during her audition on The Voice. Anna chose Kelly Clarkson as her coach. We all want to wish her good luck as she moves on this season. And don't forget, you can cheer Anna on every Monday night at 7 right here on TMJ4. Well, it does look like someone ran afoul of the law here. This was a scene on the Home Bridge recently where some geese got a police escort. Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office had their lights flashing, and they had to escort the family off the bridge because they had to make sure they didn't cause any traffic issues, and we're happy to say the birds are safe. I'm going to be right back with my quote of the week. Welcome back. This week, we wanted to share some sage advice from Mother Teresa. She said, quote, "We think sometimes that poverty is only being hungry, naked, and homeless. The poverty of being unwanted, unloved, and uncared for is the greatest poverty." And it's very important that we let people know they are seen, loved, and wanted. Be sure to share a smile with people in your life. Have a great week out there, and make sure to make it positively Milwaukee.